A little while back, one of the YouTubers, Lydias Resurrection, posted, a video called Honest Goth Talk, and it's been kind of causing a lot of responses, among the Goth community. I'd like to give my response, if you guys will hear me. And I obviously probably have a little bit of a different take on it than a lot of other people. But stay tuned today on Tofer's Take. I'm going to be level with you guys here. Lydias Resurrected, Honest Goth Talk sparked a big, conversation on, the Goth community on YouTube. Well, my thoughts are, it's not just on YouTube, okay? The problems she referenced aren't just problems with the Goth community, and I've been a member of a church, different churches for almost my entire life, and a lot of things she referenced, or a lot of things I've been talking about, I've also seen take place, in church, like elitism, people trying to be popular, and getting 100 subscribers, here on YouTube or more, and that goes on in the church all the time, okay? I mean, our churches brag, oh, we have this program, we have that program, come join us, we have small groups, whatever you're looking for, we have it, and we see all these churches grow. We see all of them get big, and honestly, I don't care how big your church is. I don't care how much your, congregation is growing. If they're not growing here, and if they're not getting closer to God, all the other numbers don't really matter. You can have programs out to a zoo, but if you guys aren't growing here, in your faith, it's meaningless. Another thing, that was brought up was, the Goth community seems like a clique. At least there are some cliques, within it, and yep, I see that in my church too. We have, seems like musicians, hang out with the musicians. The families only want to go do stuff with other families, and, the single people want to hang out with other singles. It's a clique, in a lot of ways. And we all have our circle of friends, and I'm not trying to deny or counteract that. But if someone like me were to walk up in your church, or your group of friends, would they honestly feel welcomed? Would they walk away and think, man, what a bunch of narrow-minded, people. That they all they want to do is hang out with themselves and nobody different. And there's been a lot of discussion on these two topics, especially within the Goth YouTube community, and it's been brought up that a lot of people who were doing it, maybe aren't now because they've got busy, they've got lives, or they're trying to do YouTube as a career, which, I really don't have that much to say or thoughts on that. I've actually enjoyed, going back and watching some of the 5 questionable goths. I've enjoyed some of, Lydias Resurrection stuff and Liam House's, and even Sarah Darlene or, Miss Columbine. But Samantha Columbine, or the videos of goths doing things, and I've enjoyed their insight. And I usually don't comment or post replies to stuff, but I've got something out of it, and I think that's what they want. I don't think they're posting it for popularity or elitism, just posting it for people who are open to listen and hear what they have to say, on it. But the one thing I've not heard a lot of talk about is books and goth culture. She, referenced Dracula and some other stuff, and I got to thinking, a little bit on that. I even posted a question on this on my Facebook, and got a couple of, honestly, surprisingly refreshing, comments on it. But how many of us have gone back, and read some of the early church fathers, How many of us have actually read like Tertullian, or do we think Polycarp is a church father or a Pokemon? By the way, down with Pokemon Go. Have we read people like Wesley or Luther or Spurgeon, Or are we reading a lot of the more popular books, that are out now? It might not be kosher, to quote Mr. Feeney, but he said, Mr. Feeney from the show Boy Meets World, is reference is saying, Gutenberg's generation waited 6 months for a new book. We have a new web page every 6 seconds. And how do we use this information? We use it to defeat Koopa and save the princess. You see, I think it's ironic to an extent that Leela is dressing, this in a YouTube video, because Gutenberg's generation, or if you want to go back further, even Paul, or the playwright, Shakespeare, they didn't have the technology we have now. And to be addressing, that people don't read as much, or don't read the right things as much, is ironic because, I think a lot of people don't feel that they have to read as much. I mean, we have YouTube, we have movies, we have Wikipedia, we have e-readers, we can do all this, on our tablets, or, even on our cell phone. We can record a video and put it on YouTube, on our cell phone, Reading isn't the main source of entertainment anymore for a lot of people. There are other things people use for entertainment, or people go do for entertainment. I've mentioned some of them: movies, video games, that you can play on your phone. By the way, down with Pokemon Go. Now and we've come so far where reading maybe isn't the chosen form of entertainment for a lot of people. Personally, I enjoy reading. I mean, I've actually read some of Josephus and John Wesley. I am always, just about always reading one book or another. I'm reading a book about One Bad Pig right now. I'm reading a book on sermon making my grandpa gave me, before he passed on. I just finished Lacey Strum's book, The Reason, and I'm also reading, various things in the Bible. So I get that people may not read as much, but I think people have a lot more to read as well. A lot more choices. Like you can find educational videos, like I said, on YouTube. You can get your information from Wikipedia. You don't always have to read, from a book to learn. And I think that is probably part of the problem, that she's addressing. Now, I'll admit, I don't read a lot of fiction. I read things that will be beneficial, that will help me out, that will be insightful to me. Or I read about stuff I enjoy, like, different bands, or different aspects of, the rock goth culture. But what I'm really trying to get at here is, some of the things that she brought up aren't just about the goth culture on YouTube. I think there are issues within that we can all see and that we can all address, even within the local church, but maybe even within any organized group, or any group that appears to be organized. As far as solutions, we really don't have any. I mean, I can't force people to read, I can't force people to accept others, I can't force somebody not to be an elitist, or be in a popularity contest. All I can do is not do any of that, So that's my challenge to you guys, especially you in the church. Don't be like that, okay? If you like this video, be sure to like it and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.